They were just 8 years old. Stephen Branch, Michael Moore, and Christopher Byers found murdered, hog-tied and naked in a drainage ditch in West Memphis. Jason Baldwin was a child himself, only 16 years old, when he, along with 2 other teens, Damien Echols and Jesse Miskelly, were arrested for their horrific murders.
I got locked up on my last day of school for 10th grade. My mom brought my report card to the jail, showed it to me through the glass. Echols
was sentenced to die. The jury sentenced Baldwin and Miskelly to spend the rest of their lives behind bars. But after being locked up for nearly 2 decades, they were given the chance to walk free, if and only if the West Memphis 3 all agreed to plead guilty. Echols and Miskelly were on board, but Baldwin initially said no way. Then he changed his mind.
This was the only opportunity that I was given to save an innocent man's life, to save Damien's life. This was the only opportunity I was given to save Jesse's life and to save my own life. We're all 3 innocent. And I was willing to take lie detectors and all that stuff. I was never given that opportunity. But I am innocent.
Accepting the deal meant Baldwin would be free, but carry with him the weight of being a convicted child murderer. His release was bittersweet.
Yeah, it was hard. If they had set it up to where we could have accepted it individually instead of just all together, I would have declined it.
Because why?
Because, it's not right. The deal should have been that the state, with all the looking at the evidence, unbiased, the alibi evidence, the post-mortem evidence, the DNA evidence, everything all together, the state would have concluded, that we did not commit this crime and would have let us go. I'd have gave my word not to sue the state. They just reinstated all of our rights as citizens of the United States of America. That was the right deal.
While the West Memphis 3 are free to travel, their release comes with stipulations.
For the next 10 years, I cannot communicate with anyone who's been in prison except for Jason. We had to agree not to sue the state. If you're convicted of a felony within the next 10 years, they can take you back to Arkansas and re-sentence you, add more time to the sentence.
As to whether or not they can profit from their story,
I've heard 2 different schools of thought on that. One being, of course, you've heard of the Son of Sam law, which says you can't profit off a crime, but Damien, Jesse, and I didn't commit a crime. What we've experienced is our life and it's our story, so we should be able to profit from it.
And Blue Rider Press recently announced Echols is writing a memoir to be released next fall, which will include his account of the trial, time spent on death row, and his prison diaries.
The way I want to survive and the way I want to make a living is by doing some of the same things I was when I was in prison, writing. That's one of the things that I really love doing and always have, and I want to continue to do that out here. So I'm working on some projects in that area right now. Definitely something in the art world. I want to keep going in that direction.
As for Baldwin, he has aspirations of going to law school and becoming a law professor.
Experiencing what I've experienced, I know it happens to people, innocent people go to prison, and I want to be able to help change that, or help people, that go to prison. But most importantly, I want to make it to where the innocent people don't have to go to prison. Work towards changing different laws and different ways the court systems and judicial system do things.
Baldwin got his GED while in prison and took college classes. While he plans to graduate, for the time being, he is doing construction work out of state to pay the bills.
With the conviction, I don't think I can become an attorney. So the things I had planned for when I got exonerated, I had kind of set them on the back burner and work on becoming exonerated first, but at the same time I have to do something until then.
And despite being separated for close to 20 years, Echols and Baldwin, who were best friends when they were arrested, have picked up right where they left off.
It's hard to describe these things to the average person because they don't have any concept of what it's like. And he does. He knows because he went through some of the same stuff I did. So there's, we don't have to try to explain things like that. It's just automatically known, and that's sort of comforting.
When I see him, I know exactly what he's been through, the pain and the hurt, and the people initially, not believing, his story and what he said is true and everything. So I understand, what that means to not be able to be with the ones you care about, to be free and stuff. So.
And he, like Echols, says despite the hell he went through, some good did come out of it.
I met a lot of wonderful people, and a lot of people, you know, prayed for me and believed in me and prayed for the day I was released. And that last week, I seen so many different guards and people who worked there like literally cry for me, you know, that I was getting out, and it was great. I'll never forget it.
While they hope to be pardoned and continue to fight to clear their names, Echols and Baldwin share another thing in common, their attitude.
Do you carry a lot of hatred, a lot of resentment with you after spending 18 and a half years in prison for a crime you say you didn't commit?
No, I have no hatred, resentment, or anything. You know, life is meant to be lived. You know, you move forward. Things that bad happen in your life, you gotta forgive and move on. You can't forget, but you gotta forgive and make peace and then move on and make the most of it.
All the while remembering those 3 innocent lives that were tragically cut short.
Now, do I hope that with the investigation and through the DNA and everything that we can actually identify who did the murder? Definitely, because justice needs to be done. Those boys deserve to have their murderer found, but at the same time, Damien, Jesse, and I do not deserve to have this over our heads.